Hello, Mustang Nation. Matt Carnes, Grapevine Booster here for Week 5 of the Team 101 season. For your Grapevine Mustangs, Coach Mike Alexander Show, along with your head coach Mike Alexander. I want to say a special thanks to Kim Assad for sponsoring us again. And before I forget, Coach, we can talk a little bit about it, but yesterday was a special day because Big Fish held their golf tournament, which was a little bit late this season, so you didn't get to play this year.
Yep.
But it was fun. I want to give a special shout out and thanks to Mike Easley and everybody over at Big Fish. It was a great time. We had 3 of your players come out and support him, and I'll tell you, you will be proud, and Big Fish was happy to have them out there. They represented the team well. So thanks to Max Calgill, Jason Short, and Jake Carnes for coming out, and we had a great time. They represented the program well. It was a lot of fun. We did not win.
Shocker.
We were a mere 16 or 17 strokes off the lead,
Yeah.
but I think it was probably weather.
Yeah, more than anything.
That helped hurt us on that one yesterday,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it is what it is. But anyway, we're coming off a big win, 3-2 now,
Yeah.
2-0 in district. Big win Friday night down in South Fort Worth with Poly. Tell us about the game.
So Mustangs kind of came out to a little bit of a slow start. Poly did a great job, especially defensively. They've made such huge strides in their program. Coach Green and his staff really doing a good job. And I'll say this for the rest of all Fort Worth ISD football programs. I can see them all improving, over the last several years. And but Coach Green, they did a great job. So we kind of got out to a little bit of a slow start. But I think our guys woke up a little bit at halftime and came out and executed better. We didn't have as many busts, and did our thing and scored a bunch of points in the second half and got the win. And 2-0 in district is where we want to be. They all count the same. It doesn't matter what the score is right now. You're in district play. So as long as we can keep winning, we're in business.
Well, it was interesting to hear on the radio program and from the players yesterday talking about the difference in that Poly program versus what you've seen in the past. And I think the numbers were something along, they've won more in 3 years than they have in 25.
Yeah.
And they looked like a very well coached.
They were,
and a good team.
And that was a challenge, I think, that we have somewhat with Team 101, because several guys off Team 101 were in middle school or maybe freshmen last time we were in this district. I guess they were freshmen last time we played some Fort Worth teams, and what they remember when they were freshmen, they remember a pretty subpar product being put out there on the field by many of the Fort Worth teams. But I will say that you turn the video on nowadays, and Coach Green and the Poly staff, they're doing a really good job, and their kids play hard. They don't take a bunch of plays off like they have in the past, and they have a good plan. And then you add the added fact that they have some talented athletes to boot. And it's not something where you can show up to that game and say that we're going to win this by X amount of points just because we're Grapevine. We got to show up and play. And I think our kids woke up and found that out at halftime last week.
Well, speaking of halftime, you're up 14-7 at the half, and you scored twice on the first 2 plays of the third quarter. One of them got called back, but you recovered and got it back. So once the third quarter rolled around, it seemed like things were going your way pretty quick.
Yes, sir. Like I said, and I got to own a lot of that as a head coach. Anytime your team doesn't perform well, especially early in the game, that's a red flag that there's some things we may have done in practice throughout the week, Matt, where we didn't prepare our guys well enough, and it's good to learn those lessons and still get a win. But I'll tell you, I told our team and our coaches, I said that's my fault. We won't let this happen again. We will be ready to play from the first snap, and so that's what we've been focusing on this week.
Well, it was a big week all the way down on all the teams, if I remember correctly. So let's talk about the sub-varsities, and we'll go look at some highlights after we get through that.
Poly didn't have a sub-varsity team, so we were on the hunt once again, finding a bunch of games, and so both of our JV Red and our freshman Red went out to the Colony and played those guys out at the Colony. And JV Red actually took their first loss of the year. They got beat 7-6. a heartbreaker. We had a chance to win it there at the end. Had a long field goal attempt that didn't make it, but they played their butts off. You know, it's a tough place to. Very physical game. The Colony there, and a lot of 21 personnel running the ball downhill, and so that was good for our defense. But you know, we didn't play great on offense. We got to do better. We moved some offensive linemen up, and that probably hurt. You know, moved 2 or 3 JV Red offensive linemen up to the varsity, and that we felt the effects of that a little bit. But really proud of the JV Blue team. They played at home against Wiley. Another 6A program, and did a good job and got that W. And then really proud of our freshmen, man. They ran into early in the season. They played against a couple really good freshman teams with some really good, talented quarterbacks and skill players, and lost some tough ones. And then, but over the last 3 weeks, man, they've just improved, and they beat a good Colony freshman team pretty handily on Thursday night last week. So. Future's bright. Freshmen are doing great. There's not a bunch of them, but the ones that are out there playing are playing their tails off.
Well, that's good to hear. It's good for the program going forward. Let's talk about the DNA traits, and we'll watch the footage and how they got those DNA traits.
So, starting with the attitude, we always like to kick things off with attitude. We talk about this guy, I think, every week.
I think we do.
Man, Jackson Yarbrough, he's a guy that, he's got to be on the field for us. And the reason we gave him attitude this award this week is he was not a guy that didn't have his game face on from the get-go. You know, he was a guy that he had the right attitude. He doesn't care if we're playing Poly or Clemson. You're not going to see a change in him, from the first to the last play of the game. And so really proud of Jackson leading our team in that regard. And then compete J.D. Rice, man, he's one of our handful of kickers in our program, and J.D. filled in for Braxton Russell, who was kind of our number one guy last year, and Braxton started out the year with an injury, and we awarded both J.D. and Braxton this week with DNA Trade Awards. J.D. for not quitting, like when Braxton came back off injury, J.D., he didn't give me a reason to let Braxton do all the kicking duties. He just got in there and competed his tail off, and so really proud of JD in that regard. And then we wanted to award Braxton with the Family Award because he handled it really well. I mean, he is our number one kicker, but coming off of an injury, he knows that he's got to go earn it, earn everything every day, and he handled it really well, and he hasn't, cause a distraction about not dealing with doing all of our kicking duties. So those two guys, it's a touchy situation, when you have two really quality kickers. It's hard to play both, but we're managing it, and we're figuring out ways to get them both on the field. And then the Discipline Award, Ben Gare, he's as steady as the day is long, always open, always there in a pinch for a quarterback to get him the ball. And then the Fight Award went to Jason Short this week, and the O-line struggled in the first half, especially last week. But Jason is the glue that held those guys together and kept them in the game, kept them fighting, and they figured it out in the second half. And then lastly, once again, Caleb Tejada, just glad to have him back and have him rolling. And he ran for some tough yards, especially in the first half the other night, and we wanted to award him and let him know, or let the team know that what it takes to be a number one running back. And sometimes you got to run when the holes aren't there. Sometimes you got to create your own holes, and Caleb can do that.
Funny thing about Caleb is he reminds me a little bit of Roshan Prayer. There might be a mass of people, and he's running in the middle of them, and nobody can get a hand on him. He's not making a lot of headway down the field, but he's not getting caught. And it's amazing to watch how shifty he is.
You should see some of the runs he makes in practice. Our poor defensive kids sometimes, they just got to scratch their head. But he's a talented guy. We hope he has a big week this week.
Not that the players nowadays understand what this means, but he's one of those guys that you can't find in a phone booth.
Yeah,
so
it's hard to tackle.
They don't even know what a phone booth is, but that's okay. Well, let's go look at some highlights, and then we'll move on to next week's ball game.
All right. So basically, this is going to be in sequential order. First quarter. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This is going to pick up in the second quarter. No, this is first quarter. I apologize. Yeah. So this is the first big third down we had after we made the turnover. Once again, discipline award for Ben being available, being open, making the catch, and then this was this was kind of one of those runs you just talk about. You know, like this shouldn't happen, right? At this point right there, you know, that's a tough get for Griffin Edwards. Tough block for him from his tight end position, but at this point, you know, this is all Caleb making it happen right there. Here we go, coming back, change a quarter, going the other way right before half. How? I don't know. You know, I mean, I guess we can take a peek at the end zone copy. But yeah, I mean, this is all about Caleb just staying with it and keeping his feet active and, you know, figuring out a way to get it done. So Miguel Navoya coming off on the little play action right there. Here's an end zone shot of it. You can see the good ball by Calgill. Selling the run fake. Throwing the ball in a tight window. Miguel making the play and finishing it. And then once again, like I said, for the second score, this is just a little one yard. You know, we knew we were gonna get man coverage. Just work a little, you know, rub route right there, get in the end zone. This is stuff we started doing a little bit more of, doing some motions, and you know, at times we'll bring them all the way across formation, and you know, just trying to create some different kind of matchups and create some different areas of the field to attack. And you know, we're still exploring it, and then we'll see how that goes and how we can keep expanding that. But defense, I thought they started off the game pretty energetic. I didn't feel like we were having a lull at all, really. And then you know, as the game went on, you know, got a little bit more of a beat on them. Poly's a good team, and if you miss some tackles, they're going to be able to go punch it in and score.
And it was not hard to see how big their offensive line was the minute they hit the field.
Yeah, I mean,
they're big boys.
Once again, you know, we probably didn't pass the inspection on, you know, the eye test. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I mean, they're bigger than us up front, and that's going to be a theme throughout the rest of the year. You know, our defensive line and linebackers won't be as big as most of the guys that we play against. All right, so this is just a clip of once again Jack Yarbrough. You know, he's in this particular coverage, he's a flat defender, and he sees 3 trigger. Quarterback probably makes a wrong read, but Jack's there to really thought he was going to pick it and go the other way, but he's there to make the big hit and tackle for loss. And then the big punt block, this helped a ton right here. Tyler Mears, sophomore, we moved up from the JV last week, got the punt block and got us some momentum going. We've been working on this all year, man, just trying to generate some positive plays in a punt block situation. It was good to see it finally come to fruition. And then want to throw a clip of Elijah on there. You know, we got a lot of skilled kids on our kickoff return, and this is why, because people are just kicking the ball all kinds of different places. So we have our, you know, we have all of our best receivers and running backs on here and all over the place, just to make sure we have skilled guys that can fill the football, because you never know where the kicker's going to kick it these days. All right.
Well, it was a good win. It was fun. It was a beautiful night, and it looks like we're going to have another beautiful night Thursday night. Thursday this week. So I know from a coaching standpoint that changes everything for you. And you got another big change this week to manage in pregame. Senior night.
Yeah, senior night. That's right. It's a big night for you.
It is a big night for me.
Yeah.
My baby is going to be a senior.
Yeah. I went through it last year. You've done it before.
Done it before. It's,
You know, it's kind of odd that it's midway through the season. You know, I was thinking about it yesterday, and you know, I typically write the kids a note and a letter, and have a little interaction with them personally. I don't know that I'll do that for tomorrow or for Thursday. I'll probably wait until later in the year. Let the parents have their ceremony, you know, right now, and then push mine to a little bit later in the year because we have so much football left.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think I'll probably wait for my letter for later. But it's a big night, and we're excited. We're playing a team that's 2-0 in district as well, coming to Mustang Panthers. So it's gonna be fun.
Well, Southwest is 3-1, and if you watch the highlights, not a whole lot unlike Poly. They've got athletes all over the place. They can make you pay if you're not on your game.
They do, you know, and you know we have a common opponent. We both played Creekview, and you know, similar result, and I think that got our kids' attention, you know, and saw the similar score and those types of things. So I don't think they're going to catch us off guard. However, I will say a couple of their skill guys are probably quicker than what we can simulate in practice, and from a quarterback standpoint, you know, it's going to be real important that we corral him. Sometimes I wonder if the worst thing we do is cover people. You know, if we cover all the receivers and he tucks it and runs, that could be one of their best plays. So we got our work cut out for us defensively. I know that, and then so hopefully our offense can put some points on the board and you know, kind of force Southwest to be more one-dimensional. Who knows?
Well, we'll find out Thursday night. We will see you there 7 o'clock. Senior parents, make sure you're there early. I think we were supposed to be there 5:30, 5:45, lined up and ready for the senior night ceremony. But special thanks again to Kim Assad and Mike Easley at Big Fish. Thanks for all the help and the support this year. We will see you next week.